Good morning, class. As you know, we've been studying government terms, and today we'll be doing a little bit of review before we continue on with the terms that we're going to be studying. So let's take a look at it. As you know, that these first three terms, unitary, confederation, and federal, are ways that we describe how governments distribute power. So it's always important to keep that in mind when you're thinking about unitary, confederation, and federal. Federal or a federation is the way that governments distribute power is power is divided between one central and several regional authorities. And here we have a graphic organizer that sort of explains that, so that's good, helps you understand it. And then, as you know, a list of countries that have a federation. Then we have unitary, where uni means one, and power is held by one central authority. And as you know, we discussed this. And here again, you can see the arrows pointing out to the regions, where the central authority is telling the regions what to do. The list of countries that have a unitary government. And then last on distributing power is confederation. And here we have where the regions are the ones that govern themselves. The central authority doesn't have the power as in like a unitary government. So, and the graphic organizer here shows the regions where if there is a central authority, the regions are telling the central authority what's going to happen in the regions. We know this from the Confederate States of America, was our prime example. And then a list of them in history. And then this is good, shows the breakdown. It's a continuum of how things are laid out for distribution of power. Now today we're going to talk about or go into the terms of autocratic, oligarchic, and democratic. And these are three terms that we use to describe how governments determine citizen participation in their government. And these are big words, but we'll go through and explain it, and you'll have a definition in your notes that you understand in no time. Here is a good graphic organizer to explain how governments determine citizen participation, and you can see government power is high, citizen participation is low or none in an autocratic government. Government power is high, select citizen participation is high, general citizen participation is low or none in an oligarchic, and democratic in a democracy such as the United States, as we have discussed, government power is high, citizen participation is high. We'll come back to that. Autocratic. This is where one person possesses unlimited power, and the citizens have limited, if any, role in the government. Now, what does this make you think of? What comes to my mind is Hitler. We will be discussing him further when we get to history, but autocratic is one person possessing unlimited power, and that was Adolf Hitler in Nazi Germany, and the people of Germany had no or very limited say in their government. So, in an autocratic government, citizens have pretty much no say. This is the oldest form of government, one of the most common forms of government. It maintains power through inheritance or ruthless use of military and police power. Now, the use of military and police power, this is what I'm thinking of when I think of Nazi Germany with Adolf Hitler, but the inheritance is referred to as a monarch. So a king, queen, emperor, this is passed down through inheritance, not necessarily military or police power. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a bad thing or an evil thing when we think of Nazi Germany, but here you have the queen and king as examples. So we have absolute or totalitarian dictatorship. Ideas of a single leader are glorified. and the people lack the power to limit their rulers. Again, Hitler, Mussolini, and Stalin. And we'll be studying them when we get into um, history. Now, an absolute monarch, this is where the king, queen, or emperor exercises the supreme power of the government, unlimited power. Now, notice the word absolute monarch. This is where that is the only form. And you'll notice when we go through like the different government types, such as the United Kingdom, they have a constitutional monarchy, and that is absolutely different than this. So, just take notice when we go over that in class. Oligarchy. This is where government is by few. This is a small group of people that take over a government. A lot of times it's very corrupt, and they are governing for selfish purposes. They're not trying to take care of the people. That's not the purpose. And we discussed that in class. But the citizens have very limited role. And an example of this where they have limited role is they'll say that, sure, people can vote, but only men can vote, or you can vote, but there's only one person on the ballot for you to vote for. So it's very corrupt, selfish reasons. They say that they will lie and say that they're doing things for the people, but really they're not. Now, examples of this are communist countries such as China. There's not one single leader in China. That's a group of people, and it is selfish reasons. They do things selfishly and not necessarily for the people. They limit what they can and can't do. A lot of times, if there's political opposition, they would be jailed or even put to death. Now, autocracy and oligarchy, they sometimes claim that they rule for the people, like I said, but in reality, the people have very little say in both types of government. So here's examples: may hold elections with only one candidate or control the results in various ways. They may throw out votes or such. Even when these governments have a legislature or national assembly, they often only approve decisions made by the leaders. So, and then I'll stop here, but the democratic governments, democracy, as you told me, you know that democracy means that people get to vote. And an example is the United States, where we, the people, at the age of 18 is our suffrage, and we get to vote for our political leaders and how our government is run. So this is what we'll be looking into and researching a little bit more. So I will stop here, but please refer back to this PowerPoint and presentation so that you can review. Thank you.